This is Satya Pradyuman of Cirrus Research. The latest issue of the Signals Report is just out. The Signals Report is an asset allocation focused report. It tends to look at stocks versus bonds, large versus small, growth versus value. In this issue, it's titled Equity Heavy Allocation in Place, Cyclical Bias Surfacing. Our asset allocation model remains firmly fixed with an overweight to equities. This is important given the strong run we've seen in the last year or so. So the question is, why does this continue to remain at this upper tranche? At the end of the day, a lot of this is still driven by the fact that the profit cycle appears to be bottoming. The earnings cycle appears to be very good. Estimates are moving in the right direction. And then finally, the credit comparisons are actually quite favorable. We're looking at historical credit spreads with a potential dovish Fed on the horizon. So the allocation to a 60% reading is actually quite constructive for equities, and we kind of buy it. We do think the more challenging question is, how long does this leadership last, and do we end up seeing more of a cyclical run? In fact, what we are starting to witness is more of a cyclical bias in performance, especially in the mid-small cap market. To follow through on this, our style oscillator is now firmly overweight. What is different about this reading? What is different about this reading is this value bias that we're witnessing is stronger than we've seen in over a decade. Even with the reopening of the post-pandemic moment, or the reopening of the economy, the reading became favorable to value, but it was more of a lean value reading. And again, the similar kind of elements that are driving the equity allocation model is also telling us that if the profit cycle tends to be stronger, if it's climbing, then valuations are indeed going to be more important. And then one element here on the leadership story is that in the large cap leadership camp, we continue to witness a very heavy technology bias, whereas in the smaller cap arena, while technology remains a favorable bias, we're also witnessing leadership being shared with healthcare and industrials more so. And I think this is important because as we look to the groups that are performing and we look at the fundamental backdrop for spending, it does make sense that we begin to witness a more industrial bias. So we think we're still witnessing a tale of two cities with what's going on in the large cap benchmarks with the Nifty 7 and the rest of the marketplace. We suspect this might continue for a bit more, but if the profit cycle continues to run its course, what we're witnessing in the smaller cap arena will likely spread up to the large cap camp. With any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and thank you very much.